Alright guys, today we're gonna have a little educational session, and this is gonna be centered around lane splitting. Let me go ahead and fire up my bike. Woo. Been traveling a lot lately and really had to force myself after work to pull my bike out, but man, I'm happy to do it. Still got enough gas. Let's get going. Alright, we're talking about lane splitting today. Oh man, this is such a blind corner. I've been on this kick recently of wanting to understand a lot of crash statistics and why people get injured or hurt or die on motorcycles. It's a little bit morbid. You know, it's things that people don't really like to talk about per se, but I think it's relevant because when you understand the data behind what's actually happening when people have these crazy accidents or whatever it might be, that data is power to you. What I'm going to be doing for this video is I'm going to be showing you guys how to properly and safely lane split. And let me start with this. Anytime you're lane splitting, I would say in general, you're putting yourself at a risk. Now, the way you lane split has so much to do with how safe you're going to be on your bike, right? The speed differential that you have when you're going around cars, an S2K. I really want an S2K. So much of it's in your control is my point when you're lane splitting. And so it begs the question, how do you do this? Why do you do this? And how do we make sure we're safe while doing it? I gotta warm up these tires a little bit, you know what I'm saying? This doesn't have to be, you know, some crazy analysis. Really the main thing with lane splitting is just understanding when to take the opportunity to cut through traffic. For the people who might be asking, why do you want to lane split in the first place? It puts you at risk. Well, 80% of riders at one point in time have attempted to or have done lane splitting according to California highway statistics. Lane splitting ultimately is the reason why motorcycles get to destinations quicker. You see me enter this freeway, right? When I get to destinations a lot quicker on my motorcycle, it's ultimately because I'm able to filter through the lanes and split them exactly how the name sounds. Now, one thing to clarify is that lane splitting is different from lane filtering. Now, lane filtering is more so defined by being at a dead stop or other cars being at a dead stop and you filtering to the front. Think of it like if you're at a red light. That's when you'd be lane filtering. Lane splitting is when they're moving cars like you see what I'm doing right now on the highway, and we choose to split and go right in between those lanes at a safe pace, obviously. So that is the key difference between the two. Don't get it twisted. They sound very similar, obviously, but they're two very different things. And another crazy thing in the United States, at least, is that lane splitting in California is the only state that actually defines it and allows it amongst all of the U.S. It's probably the only law that we don't restrict compared to other states. I don't really understand why other states don't specifically say you're allowed to lane split. It kind of baffles me, if I'm being honest, but at the same time, the most motorcycle riders are in the state of California, so I guess there might be finally a little bit of logic. All right, so I am on a very busy highway, doing this for the name of research and trying to keep other people safe, but this is a really hairy freeway because it always comes to a dead stop, and again, lane splitting inherently is a little bit dangerous. So see how we're going to get into the lesson here. When you're in the HOV lane, which you're allowed to do, at least in the state of California, you got to be a little bit careful, because if I'm going incredibly fast and then some idiot decides to cut into my lane without checking, and a lot of people do that, you have to have time to react to that. Now, I'm going about 50 miles per hour, and the people beside me are probably going, give or take, 10 to 15 miles per hour. I would even say that is a little bit scary from an HOV perspective, because people can always just cut in. Now, this is an exact scenario as to why bikes go quicker. We're gonna do lane splitting. We're gonna see, this is exactly what I'm saying. People like that. People do that shit, and you gotta look out for it and not let it boil your blood over, because that was really annoying. Usually people are really cool like this. And it might be hard to see on the action camera because the field of view is so wide, but you know, people cutting in and everyone's in a rush nowadays, right? You gotta be careful of that. So this is how we get to destinations quicker. The other thing too is if you're lane splitting at night, a really good practice that I've done is just flash my high beams. Now, don't hold it on, right? Like don't completely flicker them all the time. But I would rather be seen and annoy people with a quick flash of my high beams than to not be seen and turned into. So that's why I do my high beams. Usually the wave, CHP sources will say that waving and taking your hand off the bar could put you at risk. Part of why I do that is actually because your eyesight is adapted to seeing motion really well. And so if I wave my hand out, the odds of someone seeing that movement in my hand is actually gonna help me be seen while I'm out here. I'm not going much faster than the flow of traffic. If there's anything to take away from this video, it's the fact that I am not going incredibly quick compared to other cars. I'm probably going 5 to 10 miles per hour quicker than them, and I'm just keeping movement. Because if one of these people turns in, which you pretty much have to expect everyone to do that, you gotta be ready to hit the brakes. And if I brake and I slow down like this right now, see how fast you can brake if you need to when you're going slower like this? When you gain that kind of speed and you don't realize how much distance you actually need to stop, that's when lane splitting gets really dangerous. To kind of recap what I've been doing just now, you're going slow enough to where people like that can cut in front of you and hey, you know, technically not supposed to there, but whatever. Then we got nice people like that getting out of the way, thank you. And I'm going about 30. And the really funny part is that as long as you are keeping movement, you are saving so much time. You don't need to be going 60 miles per hour through this. Even though my bike can go through it pretty quick, just know that you really don't need to. So keep flashing the high beams a little bit. This person got over, thank you. Hand movement hopefully gets noticed, but it's really that simple. It's just go at your own pace and don't push the limit of what you're comfortable with. If you don't feel like you can react in time for a car to get out of the way, you got to slow it down. And one of the other questions that might come up is, okay, so what do I do when there's a bike behind me that wants to go faster? Well, here's what you can do. You can just cut into a lane and then just wave them forward with your other hand. So it's really not a big deal. And then you could go back to splitting your lane. States like California, where it's legalized, this is the other thing that really irks me about other states not making it legal, is that people get pissed off when people just lane split nowadays, and they'll throw a tantrum, turn into them, just do crazy shit, and I don't understand why. But the nice part is that since California is known to be a state where you're able to lane split, plenty of people are really courteous. Again, as long as you're not being an a-hole and you're going, you know, look, I'm going 40 now, and recognizing, okay, this car is gonna go, they probably see me, but you can't expect that. Okay, I'm gonna cut back in, boom, there we go. This saves so much time, even going barely faster. Just the fact that we're just creeping up on people, and if I need to hit the brakes, like if this Mazda turned into me right here, if I could hit the brakes, do that, cool, no biggie. I don't know if this is going to be kind of bro science, but sometimes what you can do is you can catch the wake of, there's a person in front of me, you can catch the wake of them a little bit, because people are going to be more alert after they pass them, and you know, stay within a respectful distance. But catching the wake of someone else paving that way, if you feel unsafe, just go slower. Just go slower than them, and then wherever you feel comfortable with the speed that you're going, just go in your lane and do your traditional thing. That was lane splitting, right, on the highway. Now I'm going to show you guys what lane filtering is, if I could find the right setting for it. So let's let's see what we can find. Lane splitting is a very broad term. You could take it as slow, as fast as you want to be. The problem, again, like I've said so many times in my videos, is that you just have people that are getting too crazy on bikes, and they're just not riding in a disciplined manner. And I'm not perfect. You know, there's times where I want to rap on it, right? Just hammer down in a construction zone, you know what I'm saying? So, look, I get it. We all want to go fast, but what you realize too is as long as you keep moving, you don't need to be going incredibly fast to get the time savings that you get from riding a motorcycle. So lane filtering is when we're coming up to a red light and I want to lower the odds and the chances of someone rear-ending me. And for whatever reason, I keep running into green lights only today, which is nice, but I'm trying to demonstrate what I'm talking about here. So let's go ahead and pull up to red light so you can see what I mean. It sounds really straightforward, but for all the newer people, you know, it's intimidating when you're looking at other trucks and vehicles and commercial vehicles that could slam into you and harm you. You know, it's unnerving. It's always a constant reminder. So I want to look at both sides. It looks like this right side is actually going to have a lot more space than the left, so that's why I went this direction. And again, this is filtering. I'm pulling up, you know, I'm going 10, 15 miles per hour. I'm pulling up to the front, not blocking any pedestrians from crossing, and we just get to hang out here now. We're in our little safe zone. And I say safe zone because behind me, if I was behind another car and someone doesn't notice you behind that other car and you get rear-ended, you're probably gonna have a bad day. So, lane filtering versus lane splitting. Pretty straightforward, right? For bikes in general. Lane splitting, you gotta do it at your own discretion. If you are gonna do it, keep it to where you're only going 10, maybe 15 miles per hour faster than the other cars around you. If you're riding a motorcycle, in my opinion, you should be able to gauge the other speed of vehicles and know what 10 miles per hour looks like compared to 40 or 50, right? So there's that. I hope you guys enjoyed this brief video talking about lane splitting. I think that motorcycle safety and the statistics behind it is not talked about enough. That's why I always bring it up, and I love going through the data and dissecting it quite a bit. Don't be afraid of things. Always look at the data before making your assumptions. Go out, ride, be safe, be responsible. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks.